ask you about tight ends right away. How much of a dimension, or how much, I guess, flexibility and creativity are you able to play with when you've got probably four guys you feel you can deploy out on the field, and they can stretch it, they can block it, confuse defenses, that type of stuff?
Yeah, it gives you quite a bit of flexibility. More than anything, I think those guys are some of our most trusted guys, and we do a lot with those guys in protections, and we could be really multiple with how we want to line up and take some heat off of some other people, I think, with those guys, and be able to do some different stuff. And I'm a little biased, obviously, because I'm in that room and I know those guys, I know what they're about, but I think more than anything, like, those guys are some of the most trusted people we have on the offense to go do whatever they get asked to do, and they're some of the most selfless people we have in the team.
Coach Campbell has told us before that he knew what kind of quarterback he had in Rocco when he decided to keep playing in Ohio when he was puking his guts out. What kind of moment was that like for you in terms of seeing him obviously in a different spot? And is there a moment for you where you realize this guy not only has toughness, but he's got the ability to be what he's become?
Yeah, I think for us as coaches and teammates, like, you see it all day, every day. So when he goes out and he has a really good day, even in the game, I didn't realize that we only had the one completion at the time until afterwards, which it was at a tight end and it was not a very good route. So I told Rocco it was our fault that we didn't have 20 for 20 or whatever he was. But I can't say enough about how hard the kid works and how much the details and the margins mean to that guy, how much the community means to that guy, how much his teammates mean to that guy. So he's one of the most selfless people that we've ever had here. He wants to win for everybody besides himself, ironically, and I think that's what makes him really special. And the time in college football where that doesn't happen very much, but he's incredible. I'm gonna miss that guy a lot when I don't get to see him every day.
Coach, what's the challenge of preparing for an Iowa defense that hasn't really changed much in your time here, but they just do it really, really well?
Yeah, I think the culture of that defense and that team speaks for itself. The physicality, the nastiness that those guys play with. Like, you got to bring your lunch bell to that game, and you look at last year, how much of a struggle it was for us in the second half. Like, they're going to make you earn everything. They're not going to give you anything. And some of the best offenses, you watch Ohio State win the national championship last year, and it was 0-0 in the second quarter of that game. And it's hard to move the football. They make it really tough, and they suffocate you from all angles. So it's a culture war as much as it is anything. It's a battle of toughness. It's a battle of grit. And most of the time it's going to come down to a play here and a play there, and you don't know which one it is, and that's what makes it so awesome and so scary at the same time.
Where does that pop pass, where the tight end kind of blocks and then releases, rank among your favorite plays?
The one from Ireland?
Mm-hmm.
It's up there. I think the one that Gabe caught against Utah last year where Carson threw it to him is a little bit higher, but I love a tight end dump as much as anything. Like, on my tombstone, I want there to be just a reel of tight end dumps. Ours and other people's, they're my favorite.
Both of those plays, I think, came at kind of the end of the game in a critical sequence. Do you find yourself having to hold on to it and keeping those in your back pocket for one of those big moments?
Yeah, kind of. Like, we have them, and a little bit of it is a feel thing, and some of it is you want to make sure that they're in them. Especially the first game of the season, you don't know exactly what looks you're going to see, especially in that K-State game when they played a different defense this year than last year. So you plan some stuff to see if they're going to line up how you thought, and then that look, credit to Sam Steenbuckner and Landry and Clan and those guys too. They handle our short yards and goal line, but it was the same look that we had. So, and like I was saying earlier, like, who do we trust the most in the game? Gabe Burkle's one of the most trusted people, and I feel like between Rocco and Gabe, if he puts the ball in the vicinity, something good's going to happen, and let your guys go make plays, and they did, but that play's not on my list.
And last one on that from me. How much ability does it take a tight end to have for him to be able to block, successfully for a little bit, to have that threat, and then to be able to go out and release for a pass?
I think ability, sure, but you got to have like heart beyond measure and grit beyond measure and toughness beyond measure, because like that route's not one like you just have a bunch of like drill tape of or other cut-ups of special routes. Like, there's feel to it, and there's timing, and it's going to be like a jump ball, and it's not going to be perfect, and it's hard to replicate. Even like the Utah one last year, we didn't complete it in practice, and you're kind of just hoping that it works and your guys can go make a play, and they did, and Gabe did in that moment. So it's the want to more than anything, I think, from more so than the ability.
through 2 weeks so far, how would you evaluate your team's offense performance so far? What do you like and don't like?
Yeah, I think I'm still really sour and mad at myself for just the first fumble against Kansas State. Happy with like the operation through the first 2 weeks, but you're always like hunting for the margins of what you can do better and how you can execute better, how you can get other people involved more. So not where we need to be, by any means, but I still think when you have a guy like we have at quarterback, you're always, you feel like you'll have a chance, and we got a lot of little things to work on. We got to run the football a lot better. We got to have a better start to run the ball. I challenged those front seven guys really after last game of us being able to have a better start in the run game, because you're not going to be able to, get chunk plays like that, especially in a game like this week. So we're going to have to be better at the line of scrimmage between the tight ends and the O-line at running the football. And I think when you look at us the last 2 years there, we aren't where we need to be. We're better, but we got to be better at running the football. So we have a lot of ground to make up there.
Similar to that, I mean, you've been very candid and honest with yourself and us, just how you feel about your ability as a play caller now in year 2. How do you feel so far? What were some of the biggest things that you incorporated from last year into this year?
I think just probably the biggest thing from last year to this year is that I wish I would have known maybe is just to be bold and to roll the dice a little bit. And it's really hard to like methodically move the football on people. And there were times last year where I tried to do that and it stalled our offense out. Like we have a really good quarterback and some good people, so let those guys go make plays for you. And I probably just being conservative and nervous early last year is what I wish I could change. But we have such a good offensive staff here, and we're so trusted. When someone makes a mistake or suggests something and it works or doesn't work, we're able to make good adjustments. So I'm not as worried about that stuff. I'm not afraid to fail as much as I was early last year, and I was.
Hey, Coach, where do you feel like your momentum is at right now?
Yeah, I think we have the ball rolling, but for us, like we try to start back from scratch each week and prepare like we're playing the top team in the country every single week. It doesn't matter if it's Miami or Kansas State or South Dakota. Like I've been here for games with Coach Campbell where we've lost to Northern Iowa, where we've lost to Ohio, where we've beat Oklahoma and top 5 teams. Like you have to bring your A game every single week, and you have to start back at the drawing board every single week. And as soon as you think you have momentum, it's gone, and the game can change really fast. So you got to be ready for any and everything at all times. But for us, like how can we build off what we did well, and then how can we stress the areas that we're not doing well, because the team that we're going to play this week is going to expose every weakness that we have if we don't do it right now. So you don't get complacent, you don't tap yourself on the back, like you keep your foot on the gas pedal as much as you can until the season's over.
What do you do in